Hello and a warm welcome to Wellness with Will. My name is William, last name Lehong. So good to have you on today's edition of the show. Our very special guest is Thando Maumela, who is a life coach and a neurolinguistics expert. Thando, welcome to Wellness with Will. There are so many conversations at the moment on mainstream media about mental health advocacy. I imagine you find a lot of those conversations in your spaces where you deal with people who are having mental health blockages, right? Which is what you do on a daily basis. Talk to me firstly about what neurolinguistics is and what your role then entails in terms of helping these people with their mental health challenges.
Hey Will, thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. So neurolinguistics practice, Will, is about really shifting the mental state, or rather the mindset of human beings,
right,
to suit the lifestyles that they choose for themselves. And the shift does not come with us making decisions as coaches for them. We don't also influence their decisions. Usually when I have a client coming to me as a coach, in practice, really, I ask the relevant questions based on the fact that I know you have answers, Will, for whatever that you're coming to my office for.
Okay.
So I then probe based on your background. That's number one.
Okay.
Hence, the first thing before you come in, I send you a psychometric test of sort that you need to respond to. It will give me an idea on the results. For example, if it's couples, I'm able to get the results and see how different they are to one another and why they're not able to meet each other's needs, or rather serve one another.
Right.
As human beings, we are born to serve, right? In general, there's something that you were born for, and your purpose is what drives you. Until you say, or you surrender to it, or accept who you are in terms of what you are born to do, if this is your workspace, I'm sure your excellence comes in your practice every day in terms of what you do on a daily basis. But should you wake up one day, you did a boo-boo on set, and you feel like, no, I'm not going back there again, then for me it would be a question of, what were you doing the job for? Were you doing it for the production team, for yourself, or what was the purpose of your show?
Your purpose,
So please get up and make a decision today that you're going to give another Will who's out there, who's already thinking of coming on, onto a media space in your position, and not fearing anything, because mistakes will forever happen. Failures will forever happen. We're not supposed to be perfect beings, even if we wanted to. So neurolinguistics practice basically teaches you to try and program your mind in seeing positive, even in the worst case scenarios. As soon as it's about energies.
Yes.
As soon as you have a great aura, it's easy for you to attract good. It's like money. If you want to attract money, you should be able to invest money, or be able to invest time, chance opportunities that are given to you in order for you to earn the money that is going to obviously progressively impact your life going forward. So one way or another, there's something that human beings are meant to do and contribute towards society or towards organizations. When you are working for a certain company, your purpose there is already outlined on your work contract. On a contract. And for you to deliver, it needs for you to apply yourself. And the application comes thereof, whether the environment would be toxic or not, you are going to decide to win on a daily basis, because your character is being pruned, number one. Secondly, there's something that you want to achieve concerning credibility, and also just being trusted in the space that you are, that you want to thrive in.
Sure. Let's talk about, Thando, the themes that you see which are common, right, that you would help your patients with, or your clients, or the people that you are life coaching, right? What are some of the common themes that the ordinary human being is dealing with in real time? We've gone through things like COVID, we were in isolation, so we are effectively living in a new world, and most are struggling with coping with how the world is changing so rapidly, as it were. So what are the common themes? What are you finding?
The imposter syndrome.
The imposter syndrome is a thing.
It's a thing.
Right.
something that you reflect back on alone, convincing yourself. Also, paranoia, gets to you because you're convincing yourself that I don't think I'm good enough to send out that proposal, for example.
Sure.
I don't think I've been out of the game for some time since COVID. Youngsters have come in, graduated recently, gotten internships, and they're moving. Chances of me getting the opportunity either by age and I'm out already. You convincing yourself that you are not enough.
Talking yourself out
of situations and giving
yeah.
excuses as well. So it's some of the things that we are dealing with today in this lifetime. Sometimes it's based on the traumas that one would have faced. But I always say, whatever situation one finds themselves in, there's always a lesson to learn.
Right.
If you decide to throw in the ball and decide to expand it enough for you to see, it's like the stress ball.
Sure.
It reflects back, it bounces back.
Right.
Decisions end up with you. So even scientifically, whatever you put in, there's always something that's going to come out. So you must decide as a person what it is that you would want to be known for.
Right.
What it is that you want to know yourself for. No one is supposed to define will to will.
Yeah. And where does it start, Thando? I mean, some people, I imagine, would come to your office feeling really like their backs are against the wall because they've hit a snag in some or other project. And that is a mindset thing as well. It can be a mental blockage,
Yes.
right? And some things are a lot easier said than done. So I imagine there are steps that you take them through your consultations. And it almost even sounded like there's an element of motivational speaking
In there.
that has to go along with that. So in terms of process, where do you start them? And we'll use the imposter syndrome as the theme right now. So someone has come to your office and says, I'm battling believing that this is my life. How do I get out of this rut?
The first assignment that I give Will when he comes to my office, I say, please write a letter to yourself. If you are to write a letter to yourself and tell yourself how incredible you are, or even tell yourself how bad you are,
Right.
if at all it's what you believe, write those things. When you come to the session, I read them to you. Is this what you believe of yourself? Is that what you believe of yourself?
Okay.
If you do, who do you think will move you out of that situation? Because as human beings, we are built up by one spirituality. We are built up by the things that influences us, whether it's our spouses or the environment that we inhabit. But what matters is that what do you believe of yourself? So writing a letter to self always helps in my sessions to say, look, some of the things that you say about yourself is not things that I see as the next person. Will, you've got eloquence in your speech.
Right.
What makes you want to struggle when you can actually use that as a gift and talent to actually build yourself up in the same
Right.
space that you actually enjoy?
Sure.
So things may be a snag, they may be slow in the moment. Do you know that time and chance happens to us all?
Right.
It's just a matter of in that moment things are not moving in, and you're not the only one.
Right.
In this whole world, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
So if you are able to read into understanding that someone is facing the worst at the moment, you're dealing with what is directed to you. We find out things like what is working. There should be something that is working at the moment that you don't see or don't seem to take advantage of
Okay.
for you.
Sure.
In order for you to get out of the rut of thinking negatively or having thoughts about yourself that are actually depressing more than it is building you up.
I love that. And how many of these sessions, Thando, would one have to now see you to reach, let's call it a breakthrough?
Yeah. Usually it's 6. So I
Usually
usually say
6
6 sessions would help us understand whether you actually need further assistance in terms of advocacies that we do.
Okay.
And we can even shift it to, because psychologists work closer with us.
Okay.
Though our jobs are 2 different jobs.
Right.
They are able to then seek, or rather find out from you, what is it that is innate that bothers you the most, that you are able to actually exude the powers that are within you.
So it's just unlocking
It's just unlocking.
that hidden part,
Yeah.
that hidden part of the mind that can help you thrive and excel and reach even higher potential.
Yeah.
You spoke about spirituality as well, and it's a big talking point here on Wellness with Will, especially within the mental health space, because for Africans, I feel a lot of people are misdiagnosed, right? When you
Yeah.
come out and you say, I've got a mental health challenge, how do I overcome it? Depending on who you are expressing this to, the response could either be go see a therapist, which is never usually the answer in African families, or go and have a consultation with a spiritual healer. This could be a spiritual problem, which could then send you on completely different paths depending on that response. Right? How does that have an effect?
So, well, I always say to my clients, right? What is it that you pick up as a generational curse or blessing from your family?
Sure.
If you know, for example, that the ladies in my family usually don't get married, or they get married but they divorce, is that your belief about yourself should you get married? Is that what you believe of yourself? Should you get married, you're going to divorce? Or someone else believes, in my family we've got people that don't have children at all, that never have children at all. Is that what you believe of yourself? That one day you may fall to the state of the family that doesn't have children, that can't have children. So it's things that you need to, when you internalize them in terms of doing your own rituals, it can be yoga, for example, for some people. For some people it's prayer, like myself, meditating in devotions and having my good time with God, where I seek a path that would make me feel fulfilled. And, so you find your rooting based on what was introduced to you as a child. I see. What was introduced to you as a kid always plays a role even in your adulthood. It doesn't leave you. You can unlearn things and relearn some things and let go of the things that don't work. However, most of the time we have that nudge of what was introduced to us as children. Hence I go back to the historic part of your history, like of your lineage. Where do you come from? Do you know what are the blessings, what are the curses, and is it something that you're willing to pray about in order for you to get rid of? Some people, suffer because of their names. For example, they know that it's in the name, and the meaning of my name was granted to me based on what was happening in the family at that time when I was conceived. So you either look at it and say, I'm following, in the things that have been identified in terms of my name. And when I look at myself, for example, I know how my name all three names came about. And I love all of them. And that's because I dug deep into who I am, even though I don't know my biological father, I don't know the family. From my paternal side, biologically, I just know the stepdad and his family, and identify through them because the influence of my growth was from them. So how I internalize my being as I grow is based on how they influenced me spiritually in order for me to continue. I can't slaughter, for example, because it's not anything that I'm used to. I don't know it. Does it work for you? Is it something that you would like to go for as a person? I can't decide for you. You can only dig deep into who you are and be able to jack yourself up out of whatever situation that you are facing, and one way or another there's always a solution.
I love that, Thando, because you've
Human
just
beings
mentioned
have solutions. Will you have a solution to most of the problems that you've got?
And you've just mentioned something very, very important and key, the fact that the subconscious blockage can stem from our own beliefs based on stories or history or lineage that we are seeing around us. But it's also up to us to change that reality, right? Where would someone start, Thando, if they don't have access or means to come and see you, but they are watching this program and they are feeling some type of way about what you are saying, and they're realizing, and they've just seen themselves in our conversation today? What sort of advice could you give in like 90 seconds to say, look at this in this way, and this would be the approach, regardless of the circumstances?
So without imposing my own spirituality to a viewer out there. One, do not be misinformed by the things that are coming around based on the people that are actually sharing. Maybe you're sharing with someone and they're giving you a response that says to you, you're bewitched, for example. Read up about how you feel. Usually answers would come up from books from authors that are forerunners in terms of how they've, studied or researched in terms of the things that we go through, especially when it comes to your depression and all the other things that are encompassed around mental health. Mental health may not be as severe as one being admitted, maybe to a hospital or institution. It has everything to do with your neurophone, how you are built up as a person. As soon as you decide to deal with the significance of how distinguished you are as a person, that's when you are able to then tap into the actual form of how you came about. You may not have been there when your parents were actually making you, but your ability to actually live in life and actually thrive out of whatever it is that you are feeling is making you stuck, you alone can be able to actually come out of that from seeking support, and of course seek support from people that are worth getting support from.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that distinction is very important, because that then changes your life path.
Yeah.
If you go seek support from the wrong person.
It's similar to wanting someone to pray for you. I can't just say randomly to someone, pray for me. You need to be able to discern who it is that can carry you.
Right.
If it is your spirituality is prayer, for example. Yeah. You need to seek help from people that are relevant in your environment as well. It's important to change an environment that actually poses negativity on you.
Right.
It's important also to change groups, if it's friendships, cycles, because as people we evolve. A person evolves.
Right.
They never stay the same. It does not matter whether they've not gotten a job for 10 years. They're not the same person as they were when I met them 10 years ago.
Right.
So as soon as you tap into the understanding that there's a reflex methodology that exists within you, you evolve. Your growth should be evident in terms of how you wanted to sway in terms of life.
I love that. Let's talk about Thando just before we run out of time as well. Where would people find you in terms of reaching out to you? I imagine right now you're watching this and you're listening to Thando speak and you're feeling like, I could have a session with Thando. Where would they reach you?
They'd reach me on every platform. I am Thando Maumela. That is Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok I am Unlock with Thando, because that's the work that I do. I unlock the potential that one has.
Sure.
On YouTube I run Unlock with Thando as well.
Right.
So there basically we have different topics that I handle, from marriage to just life as a person, and what it is that make us different from one another but still winning.
Right.
And you can look for my page. It's Vetwa Sindoni as well, Vetwa Sindoni Lodge. It's where you'd find me posting a lot of things that are related to business as well. You can inbox there, they'll be able to respond and give you my contact details.
And what are some of the call it pearls of wisdom that you impart on others that you are using in your own personal life, Thando? I know you're running a business. You've just mentioned your lodge right now. What have you applied from your life coaching that is actually working?
So what I've applied in my life coaching journey is that as much as you apply self to the things that you want to achieve in terms of working hard, but also there is working smart as well.
Yes.
Once you've defined the vision, because I do run vision boards as well.
Okay.
Once you've defined what your vision is, once you know what the word that you stand on. For instance, I stand on the fact that there's grace that one is given when they've got an assignment on earth.
Sure.
So you ride on that by being able to feed into the things that actually give back to you some of the learnings that you need in order for you to upskill in terms of the game. You can never grow in life if you're not a reading person, if you're not a person that consumes things that actually are going to grow your mind and challenge you to do better. So I believe that my daily mantra generally is that as much as you work hard, just know what it is that you'd like to achieve. What do you want to be known for?
Right. What would you like to be remembered as, essentially?
Because it's legacy, really. Remember that we are building legacies for the generations to come. It's really never about you.
Yeah.
It's about saving the one that's coming from the pitfalls that you would have had as you're growing. It does not matter who it is that you're mentoring or not. People, when they're looking at your life, literally they're finding a testimony of some sort. When they look at your life, literally they're finding a sermon. Someone giving up, for example, is not an option.
Yes.
It's not an option, because when you give up, then you're losing the plot for the rest of the people that are following you. And I'm not saying people must do things for people in terms of showcase these Instagram lives and stuff. All I'm saying is whatever that you do, you must know that there's some young boy, there's some young girl, Thando, that is actually thinking to themselves, if she is coming from Soweto originally and she was able to achieve these things, something must have driven her. And I only carried dreams. There was nothing unique about me. I just carried dreams.
Right.
If I am to share my background, one would realize I was a very ordinary girl next door who just decided that I want to be involved in actually traveling and seeing the world and being influenced differently by different people in life. And mentorship is important. Finding that sounding board is key. I also have a debriefing or a sounding board that works with me in order for me to take out the energies that I would have received from all clients that share with me their stories.
I love that. As an entrepreneur, Thando, what sort of work are you doing when you're not life coaching?
So I own a multifunctional venue.
Right.
It's in Midrand. It's called Vechwasindoni Lodge. It basically is an entertainment space. It's got accommodation as well. So you do your events, parties, market days, conferencing, weddings even. So I deal with event planning and that's what basically we do there.
And before we wrap up, Thando, you mentioned also that you do couples therapy or couples sessions. Married people can come and see you. What have been the themes there? Does imposter syndrome present itself in that context as well?
Yes, it does. There's couples who don't believe they deserve one another. For example, I've dealt with couples that one does not think they deserve to marry to will.
Wow.
Yeah, because according to them, you're not in their league.
Right.
According to them, I don't know what this man sees in me.
Right.
And that makes it difficult for the lady or the gent to try and work hard to uplift themselves, empower themselves in order for them to be par. There's couples who outgrow each other based on their achievements in life. Right. Not because they don't love one another, but the other is working harder to be a different person. As I said, we evolve, some slower, some faster. And when one has accelerated, chances of wanting to divorce are high.
Oh.
When it's not even necessary.
Right.
It's just a matter of bringing your partner along with you in the journey and actually saying, look, this is what you could do with your talent, with your gifts as well. So the main thing that I would find myself talking to couples about is how about empowering one another, interest in the other's progress in life. Right. Remembering that I could leave one day, leave Earth, and you are left to salvage what's left of our relationship. Sure. How do you move on from there? Right. Things like that. It's things that we need to discuss. Death happens sometimes. At times death happens while we're alive, in terms of death happening in the relationship itself. Right. That you are not progressive, you are actually stagnant, dead on some areas. Hence one feels bored and sometimes finds joy in another partner. Sure. Outside, or friend outside. And that poses danger as well in your relationship. So we find imposter syndrome is a big thing. It makes you think less of yourself than you should.
I love that. I'm definitely going to invite Thando back on Wellness with Will so we can unpack that part of relationships, relationship saving a bit more. It feels like another conversation that we need to have separately. Thank you so much for making the time, Thando. Very nice seeing you here on Wellness with Will. That's our edition of the show. Of course, you can catch Thando Maumela on various platforms across social media. She's a life coach and she's also a neurolinguistic expert, and she would love to help you change your life. Thank you so much for watching.